friends, welcome back to Fix It With Beer. We've got an exciting project for you today. It's a new friend you haven't met before. This is the 2012 GMC Sierra 1500. This one's got the 6.2 liter motor. We've got oil cooler line leak, and this is a very common problem on the Chevy and the GMC pickup trucks. This applies to both the 5.3 liter motor and the 6.2. I think it even applies to the 6.0, but I'm not 100% sure. You have to check out, make sure that works for you. But I've got the oil cooler line replacement. I'm gonna get you in here, we're gonna show you the problem. We're gonna change the oil because we're gonna drop all the oil when we do this anyway. And then we'll put the new lines in. We'll show you how the clips work, where it connects into the radiator, which is the most important part. And then we'll get the new pieces in and we'll make it all work. Well, let's get started. Okay guys, if you bring it in here, you can see we've got, these are the two oil cooler lines. And you can see right down there where it changes from the metal to the rubber line. I've had a pretty significant weep for quite some time. You can see it kind of drips down there on the little front guard on the front of the motor there on the bottom. I haven't worried about these a whole bunch because they do just kind of weep like that. They don't leak a whole bunch. But I'm going to bring you down to the underside of these lines where it hooks in right near the oil filter, and that's where it's dripping pretty bad. I've got a pretty embarrassing oil spot in my front yard or my front drive where I park all the time. So we're going to get that resolved here today. Let me bring you down on the bottom side and show you what we're doing. Guys, here we are on the bottom side. You can see what we're looking at here. Obviously this is the oil filter. We're going to go ahead and take that off. We changed the oil. And then right up here, this is the block end of that cooler. If you see around here all the oil that kind of drips out of this thing. Okay guys, here's what we've got for materials. We've got our new oil filter. This is a 57060 Wix. You know what? I know a guy who's a super big fan of Wix, so I just buy him because he feels strongly about it. We've got one of these little oil jugs, little pan. I recommend one of those just because they're easy. Get them at Walmart, they're cheap. We've got a 10 millimeter socket, and we know that there's also a 13 millimeter clip down there, and I'm going to show you that when we get under it. We've got our new AC Delco line set here. Let's see, I can probably show you this part number. You know, look it up, double check, make sure you're getting the right one, but that's the part number I've got, and we're gonna see if that's gonna fit. I went to Costco. I bought their synthetic oil, full synthetic, super cheap. It's the cheapest oil out there, guys, I'm sorry, it just really is. And on this old truck, it's gonna be just fine. Hey, pro tip, guys, go and get a box of these nitrile gloves. Keeps the oil out of your fingernails. All right guys, step one here is we're going to do the 15 millimeter for this drain plug. So we're gonna do this, and I just drove the truck, so the oil's gonna be hot. Oh, so I'm gonna put this on pretty tight. Okay kiddo, watch out, because I don't want this thing to splatter you. It's gonna be hot. I don't really want to be involved with it either because I know it's going to be hot. I told you there would be a little splash. All right, guys, there we go. Every single time it's a mess, guys. I don't do it often enough to get the right spot every time. Get one of these guys right here. All right, guys, we got the last of the oil dripping out of the drain, and let's see if we can get. Oh, there we go. All right, they didn't over tighten that one as bad as I thought they did. And now I'll have oil running down my hand, but I avoided most of it. The filter is just about done dripping here. Again, I'm trying to keep from making too big of a mess, but we'll just spin this the rest of the way off. And then we can get to that line set up there. There we go. We're dripping here, but we're just gonna kind of clean up some of this loose oil with our old rags. What we're gonna do, because I don't like to forget things, but sometimes I do. So we're gonna go ahead and put this filter and the drain plug back in. That way we don't forget it when we're messing with this line set, because I'll get excited about getting that line set in, and then I'll forget to put the filter or the plug in. So we're gonna go ahead and get both of those. squared away here. First things first, plug right here. Smart guy would put a new crush washer on there, but I don't have one. We'll just do it. We'll see if we make it. You don't have to get crazy with it, guys. Okay, the next thing we're gonna do is put our new filter in. You know, guy probably thinks it's a smart idea to put a little bit of oil on that gasket before you spin it on here. I'm pretty sure my grandpa told me to do that, but I like it. We'll put a little half a crank on it with our little tool. Like I said, not super tight, just a little bit. There we go, that's good enough. All right, so we got the plug back in and we got the filter back in. So now we're ready to attack this guy. Can you see what we've got up here? Those are our two 10mm bolts for the bottom set of this line set. So we're gonna go ahead and get those backed off, and that should drip a little bit of oil right up in your face. Well, let's see how it goes. There's a little crush washer in here, or a crush gasket, or whatever. I don't know what the technical term is, but this is a pretty common thing on these Chevy GM motors. There we go. We'll let this kind of drain out for a second. All right, guys, let's get up to the top, and I'm going to show you the top half of this thing, and then we'll start trying to fish it out. It's tight up there. I'm going to be honest with you. It's not an easy little path, but I think we can do it. Here we are at the top. This is the connection at the top, and you can see it's got this little plastic cover, and then underneath this, it's got this this little kind of copper-looking retainer clip. We might be able to just glide this thing out. Now we're going to want to reuse this thing, so we don't want to tear it up if possible. See how that just kind of comes out of there like that, guys? All you got to do is just get it started. It's a little U-shaped clip. If you just get your screwdriver in there, we'll look at it again on the bottom side. It's going to be harder to see on the bottom one. So here's the bottom one. Try to reach down in here and see it's got the little plastic keeper. It just comes off just like the top. And then just gotta try to get your screwdriver, tiny little screwdriver, right there at the edge and try to pry it up just a little bit. And there it goes. Don't drop it. You gotta reuse it. Just remember, guys, the little horseshoe part at the top is gonna go right at the bottom. So once we pull these fittings out, we'll just pop those back in there. These just kind of pop out once you get them. You gotta wiggle it a little bit. There we go. Popped right out. You just gotta get enough leverage on it. Kind of lift it up and down and out, and it pops right out. There we go. Oh, now we're dripping oil from up here too. Well, we're gonna call that success. Now, we gotta figure out how to snake this thing out. Undo this clip. You see this right here, guys? Let's see how that clip works. Here's this clip. You know, I like to show you how clips work because these are the most frustrating thing if you don't know the exact. You gotta come in and hit this thing like this with your screwdriver real gently, and then it kind of pops it out, and then it comes apart. There's a bolt on the bottom side we gotta go undo. Okay, guys. This 13mm is right here. Can you see this right here? It started dripping a giant pile right on top of me, guys. Oh man, that's frustrating. This is gonna drip all over the place again. All right, we got the 13mm out. Old gasket popped out. There's our failure point, just so you know what that looks like. Okay, we're gonna let the line drain for a second, guys, and then I think what we're gonna do, you know what? It's a good time to go get a drink of beer. We had to take a little break. I was getting covered in oil down there. I was getting frustrated. Happens all the time on projects like these. You just gotta take a break. It's okay, there's no hurry. We can just sit back for a second. My gloves were filthy. They were getting more oil all over the place than they were keeping from getting on my hands. So talk to my friend Pete for a minute, and then we'll get some new gloves on and get back down there and get this thing knocked out. You know what's gonna have to happen?
What?
I'm gonna go and start pulling on that thing from the bottom side, and you might have to kind of squeeze these and kind of help guide them through, okay?
That's fine.
I think it's gonna be a lot easier to feed this from the bottom, because trying to get this to go through the hole where we need to go through, I don't think it's gonna work. So when we get this down into place, and then we can snake these through one at a time, since they are not clipped together. So I'm gonna have you guys watch from the top, and we'll see how it goes. We're gonna try this thing one at a time, since I said we got that clip off. We're gonna kind of rotate this through here. I don't know if you can you see where it's starting to come through there? Just guiding to you.
Okay.
Because basically it's going to end up right here. Okay. Okay. We got the top, we got the bottom, we got the little clips, we got the other clip we got to put in. That looks like it's through the wires the way it was before. All right, I'm going to go down. Let's go down and we're going to pin in the clips on the bottom and the housing on the bottom. We're gonna get this 13mm bolt back in. That's the clip. And then we'll go ahead and get our housing put back in. There we go. We got that one started, and then we're just gonna tighten it down a little bit. All right, we got that. Before we just tighten it all the way down, let's make sure this is kind of lining up in the right spot, which it is. Okay, we're gonna clean that off before we bolt it. We'll call this Captain's Log. Here we go, we're going to go. We had to loosen this up over here just a little bit to get this to line up. So don't tighten this one until you get your block put back on here. But it's still a really awkward angle. All right, guys, you got to remember, this is where you're getting paid. This is where you're saving your money, is doing the labor. You don't have to get crazy tight on these. There's a torque spec. You can look it up. 7 pounds, just barely tight. So now we remember we got the filter. We know we've got our plug. We've got this in. We need to retighten our clip that I had to undo up here. And then we'll be pretty much done on the bottom side here. Okay, that's good. Okay, let's go back up to the top. I'm gonna show you, this is the highlight of this adventure, guys, is the way this clip works at the top. You'll remember these little clips that we talked about when we started. So the way this clip works, it's really hard to get this thing in there where I'm showing you guys how it works and getting it in the right spot. But you see, it just kind of snaps in like that. There's a hole on either side and then a hole at the top. And then this is what I think is the coolest thing about this whole deal, is once you get that in. Yep. Okay, guys, so this is the cool part here, is we got that pin back in there, you remember? And now you just kind of go and get that thing and just jam it in there. Of course, you gotta get it lined up a little bit. There we go. Kind of pops in there, and then you take this little cover your clip thing, and we're in business. Now, the bottom part should be the same thing. I don't know. I had to get that cable on the back side, or that steel pipe on the back side, and then we'll see if all of our stuff lines up here. Feels like we're doing good. So we're gonna get this clip on and get this thing kind of buttoned back where we need it. You know, I don't know if these bends are the exact same bends that were in the one before, but it's close. I don't know if the clip's gonna hit it exactly right, but it's close. Oh, there we go. We snapped it into place, and then where's our little light here? Can you see where I'm trying to get that thing back there? Oh yeah. You know what? I think we can not forget to put the oil in, and then maybe crank this thing up and see what she does. All right, let's get this oil in here, and then we'll start her up and see what we broke. We'll see how bad it is. If you want to give this thing a chance, you can do this. I did it. If you have a helper, it's great, because you need some help fishing the lines. That's the hardest part of this operation, guys, is fishing the lines. And you want to do it at the same time you're doing an oil change. I saw a guy doing it, and he did it on his own without the oil change. He dripped oil everywhere. We dripped oil everywhere. We've got to do that with the oil change anyway, so I'd say do it when you're changing your oil. We'll start her up here, see what happens. Come on in, you can see we're not leaking here at the top, and we're not leaking at the bottom. So I think we're in pretty good shape there. Let's go check the bottom part and make sure we're good there. It's not leaking there. You can see it's not leaking there. So I think we're in pretty good shape. Filter's not leaking. We're not leaking at the drain. So I think we're gonna call this one buttoned up. All right, guys, it's a 2-beer project, maybe 3, but you can do it. It can be done. Just order the part, take your time with it, give yourself plenty of time. Wear a shirt that you don't care if it gets ruined, because you're gonna ruin a shirt. That's why this one's got holes in it, and it's okay. And wear some old clothes, and just, you can do this kind of stuff. It's not that difficult. It just takes patience. So have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time on Fix It With Beer.